Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the big events that are happening in March and just giving a quick highlight of what to expect from them because so far in 2024, Smash has been a little bit slow. In January, you're going to have Umabora and Luminosity makes moves on the same weekend, and that was pretty great. Then you had Kowloon the next weekend, and then there was a massive break, and by massive break, I mean 1 month, but in Smash terms, that's a pretty long time. And then you had Genesis X, which was arguably the tournament of the year. Right after that, you had Europe's first major of the year, small break again, and now we are in March, which is going to be one of the busiest months of the season. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full breakdown for any of these tournaments in this video because I'll just make a video on these separate tournaments when we actually get closer to the date. But our first month of March is going to have 2 majors in it. The first one being the Livitational, which is going to be a 16-man invitational with a bunch of super talented players showing up. I'm talking Mia, Light, Zomba, Dabuz, Osimo, Shuton, and a whole bunch more talent. And the favorite to win that event is definitely going to be Mia. I'd say his other runners-up would be Zomba and Light, and he just happens to have an amazing matchup versus them, both record-wise and character-wise. A couple people that could potentially stop Mia would be Dabuz, but in the past, Mia has used the Steve to deal with the Rosalina. You have Lima, who's had very competitive sets with Mia, but he's never ended up actually taking one. I think Shattuck has a very real shot because the Corrin has been doing a lot better versus Game Watch recently, and Shattuck also took a set off Meister in their last encounter, as well as Shuton. Even though Mia's been really good versus him recently, he has beaten him before. So there are a lot of people at this event that could beat Mia, but also he's kind of just that guy, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I should also highlight from the Livitational that Cola has a very real chance to take out Mia. And immediately after the Livitational, you're going to have Cirque du CFL 3. If you don't know, Livitational is a precursor to this event. And you're going to have pretty much all of the same talent showing up, as well as players like Peebnut, Chunky Kong, Goblin, Anathema, Jake, Syrup, and a bunch more talent. And Mia is still going to be the favorite to win this event, but I want to highlight Zomba here because this guy is incredible, and he is coming into this event extremely hot with his massive win at Genesis X, where he only lost to Sonics there. Now, he didn't end up having to play Mia, and the last time they played was at SmashCon, and it was a 3-0 in Mia's favor. But if you actually watch the set, a lot of those games were extremely competitive. You had Zomba hitting multiple zero death. There is a very real possibility that he can take the upset, and want to highlight Light as well because he beat Meister at Genesis X. Even though these are very bad matches for both Zomba and Light, both of these players have showed proficiency in the matchup, and it is definitely possible for them to take the dub. And it should be noted that the grand finals of the last Cirque du CFL were Zomba in first, Light in second, and then the grand finals for the last Livitational were Dabuz in second and Light in first. So expect to see Light in the grand finals of at least one of those events. Now, this isn't quite a major event, but I still want to highlight it because we don't get too many events from Mexico. This is going to be Bonito Harbor, their biggest event of the year so far, coming in at a B+ tier, and you're going to have pretty much all of Mexico's top talent showing up. MKLeo, Meister, SkyJ, Spargo, Alendis, and you're going to have one of my favorite invaders in Tilde, and I think he can actually do quite well at this event. Tilde is a player that really can beat everyone because if you fall for his tricks, and he's got a lot of tricks, you're going to be dying at like 0. You just have to be very patient versus this player. You have to be very calm, and if you get a little bit nervous, get a little antsy, he is going to destroy you for it. But unfortunately, the people that he's playing against, MKLeo, Spargo, these guys have nerves of steel, and I'm quite excited to see MKLeo at this event. He didn't do super well at Genesis, but he came back to King Kong with an absolute fire in his heart, ended up winning that event with no sets dropped, and I'm sure Spargo wants that redemption. SkyJ has taken sets off Leo before, and I would expect Leo and Spargo to be in the grand finals, but you do got to give a shout out to Meister. Even though he hasn't had a super good record versus either Leo or Spargo, he has been getting so much better recently that it's not impossible that he ends up taking his first set in a very long time versus both of those players. I think Alendis has a very real chance of doing extremely well in this tournament. This guy is incredible, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later on in the video, but definitely someone to keep your eye out on. And then you have a bunch of other Mexican talent showing up that can absolutely perform. Javi's had some pretty incredible performances beating MKLeo in the past. You have Gilhu in attendance, who I would say is the best Kirby player in the entire world, and he's just been getting better and better. He's taken sets off players like SkyJ before. Waka is going to be showing up, and I think if Waka gets more opportunities to prove himself, he is going to be in that conversation for the best Luigi player in the entire world. Chag could have an incredible run. We all know how fundamentally good that player is. Basically, this event is all of Mexico's top talent plus Tilde, so it should be a good watch. And the final two events that I want to highlight in the first week of March are going to be Olympus and Lead 2. You're going to have Olympus happening in Europe, specifically France, with MK Big Boss, Super Semi, Tarek, and Quick being our front runners to win the event. But you're also going to have talent like Space and Lancelot showing up. I think they definitely have what it takes. Nader Yu, if he goes on a crazy run, has a real shot. Orion is coming off that phenomenal run at King Kong where he ends up getting top 8. And Mr. R hasn't been doing as well recently, but we've all seen this guy's ceiling. It is incredibly high, and I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he just popped off super hard at this event and ended up winning it. And for Lead 2, that's going to be taking place in Japan, and your favorite to win the event is easily going to be Tomopi, and there's a couple other people there that I think have a chance. Fui's been very impressive. Fire's had some incredible runs. Akka just got that top 13 at Genesis. Futari is one of the best ice climbing players in the entire world, but Tomopi has just been an absolute monster recently. I would be pretty shocked if he didn't win, to be honest. Editing proof block. Olympus is not taking place in France. It's actually taking place in the Netherlands. I just am bad with flags. Don't get mad at me. Moving on to the second weekend of March, and I know we talked about a lot of the majors, but we just got a lot ahead of us this next weekend. Our first event is going to be Itsukushima number 3, and it's not going to be the biggest event of the weekend, coming in at a B+ tier, but it's still pretty stacked, and it could get even bigger when you already have talent like Osimo, Hiro, Omeki, Kananabe, Jogobu, Neo, Snow, and Ryuo showing up, as well as a bunch of other talented players. Who would I expect to win the event? I would say Neo would be my favorite, though it's really between him, Osimo, and Shogu. I think those are the people that I would expect the most to take it, but it's Japan. Japan is very difficult to predict because realistically, pretty much any of these top players could win it. I could see Snow winning it. I could see Omatsu winning it. He's had such a grand return since he kind of went into that little brief part of retirement. He's just been absolutely farming. Kananabe has some of the highest peaks in the game, and Fox is a very peaky character, so I can see him popping up. Noi's been really good. Taikei has gotten significantly better recently. There's just so many talented players showing up at this event that could definitely take the throne, but based off the recent results, I would expect it to be Neo or Osimo. And our big event of this weekend is going to be Collision, coming in at an S+ tier, and it could still get bigger. Y'all have to remember this. For all of the events that I've mentioned, except for the one that's happening this weekend, they can still increase. Now, I don't think Collision is going to get to that P tier status. Currently, it's sitting at 7,000 points, so it's just a little bit bigger than Luminosity makes big moves. So as it stands right now, it's going to be the second biggest event that we've had in America this year, and I can definitely see why. You've got Spargo, Sonics, Tweak, Zomba, Light Riddles, MKLeo, Shattuck the Buzz, Budace, Meister, Mars, DD, Lima, Skyj, and those are just a few of the top players that are showing up at this event. The only real downside of Collision, I would say, is there's not too many invaders coming down, but you still have Super Semi making his debut in NA, which I am very excited for. That guy is super legit. Andres Sefed has honestly been really good whenever he travels down, so expect those two players to make waves. And as I already mentioned, you have both Mars and DD showing up at this event, as well as Tilde, and those are some of the hidden talents in America. We have no idea how any of those players are going to do. I could see all of them in the top 8, or I could see all of them falling out before the top 32. I'm just really excited to see because they're all super fun players to watch. And in terms of who I think is going to win the event, I have to go with Sonics here. It is really difficult for me to bet against this guy, and I'll talk about a little bit more why later on in the video, but I would say he's my favorite to win. But Tweak has a very real chance, Spargo has a very real chance, Zomba has a very real chance. If MKLeo was playing the way he was at King Kong, I think he could take it. Riddles could make a big return at this event. Maybe we see Light get his first major. It's tough to predict it so far out because we don't have the bracket, but lots of people could definitely take the crown for this one. I also want to highlight that they're doing a really cool crew battle with the heroes versus villains, so that's definitely something that should be on your radar, and they're going to be hosting Rivals 2 at the event, as well as Melee and stuff, but I'm just really excited for Rivals 2, so make sure to take a look at that when it's playing. Our next weekend in March is going to be a little bit more calm, give the people a break, but our first tournament is going to be Best of the West 2 Misfire, and that's going to be taking place in Mexico, so pretty much all of Mexico's top talent showing up. You have MKLeo, Spargo, Skyj, and Alan Dis being our front runners, as well as Andric, Javi, and a bunch of other Mexican talent showing up, but this time you're going to have a handful more invaders. You're going to have Kronos in attendance, Base Mage is going to be in attendance, Ludo's going to be in attendance, Embo Z, so there's actually a lot of invaders at the event that I think could do fairly well. Now, when it comes to winning it, it's going to be that same conversation of between Spargo and MKLeo, but I would be pretty shocked if we didn't see at least 2 of these NA players, NA American players, in the top 8. And the other big event of that weekend is going to be Gourmet Bash 3, also coming in at a B tier. And they've already done the seeding for this event, so thank you for that. Makes my job a lot easier. Our top 8 seeds are going to be Silver, and Silver again in 7th place. I swear they're different people. You're going to have Not Braden and Elijah Min in 5th place, Black Twins 13 in 4th place, Burst in 3rd place, Beast Mode Paul in 2nd, and our first seed is going to be Riddles. And for me, it's really between Riddles and Beast Mode Paul for who ends up winning this event. And I would expect Riddles to come out on top, but Beast Mode Paul has been incredibly scary. And it should be noted that Black Twins 13 just recently was able to take his first set off Riddles in a very long time, or at least his first tournament win off Riddles in a very long time. So maybe he's finally starting to get back on track there. And Burst on the Yoshi is such a phenomenal player that I honestly wouldn't be super shocked if he had an incredible run at this event, but Riddles is like a top 10 player in the world. Beast Mode Paul is a top 50 player in the world, so they would be the favorites to take it. And for our final weekend of March, you're going to have 2 events that I want to highlight. The first one is going to be Kowloon 10. And as it stands right now, Kowloon is only a C tier with 886 points. But I think it's going to get significantly better. It's a Kowloon. Those events usually do pretty well. So I would expect that event to at least reach the B+ tier status, maybe even the A tier status. And just wanted to point that out. But the big talking point and the biggest event that I think we are going to have in March is Battle of BC6. As it stands right now, Collision is a little bit bigger, but you've still got a lot of time to register for Battle of BC, and you already have Spargo, Sonics, Tweeg, Gluttony, Light, Riddles, MK Leo, Hurt, Yoshidora, Kurama, Bloom Forever, and Skyjay showing up at this event, as well as a bunch of other players. Just to highlight some of the invaders, you're going to have Raflo showing up, you're going to have Ron and Doramiki making his NA debut, you're going to have Ryuo showing up, and you're going to have a player that I'm very excited to make his NA debut in Toriguri. I think he is going to do quite well at this event because people are not going to be ready for that Banjo-Kazooie. I also think Doramigi is a surefire for the top 8 because people in America have no idea how to play against Min Min, especially a Min Min of his level, so I would expect him to do very well. You're also going to have players like Dorioka and Terakatori showing up, Terakatori being one of the best little back players in the world, so that's definitely going to be fun to watch. Alan Dis is going to make his first debut outside of Mexico at an event, and this guy is legit. I think he has what it takes to become potentially the best Snake player in the entire world if he gets more opportunities to travel, and this is a great opportunity for him. Speaking of the best Snake player in the world, you're going to have Hurt showing up for the second time in NA. His debut at Port Priority was pretty solid, ended up getting 9th place there, but I would be pretty surprised if he didn't end up top 8 of this event. He's only been to one major in 2024, and he ended up getting top 8 in it. I believe it was Callan where he placed 4th place, and in terms of people that were going to win the event, it's going to be that same conversation that I have for Collision. I would expect Sonics to win it. Spargo and Tweak also have a very real chance, and if Light does make it to Sonics, they haven't played yet, so I would still expect Light to take that set, even though I know Sonics has done a ton of adaptation versus Fox because he just hates losing versus people. That record for Light is just so good. We just have to wait and see if Light can actually make it to Sonics because he hasn't been able to do that yet in 2024. Don't count him out completely, but there's a lot of invaders that I think are going to make this event extra spicy, and predicting the top 8 is near impossible. So there you have it. Those are all of the big events that are going to be taking place in March. And as you can see, it is quite a few. And it's pretty nice because we've had a bit of a dry spout in Smash. So it's good to get back into the swing of things. And if you want more detail for all of these events, I'm going to be covering all of the majors that are taking place. Maybe I'll do recaps on a couple of the regionals as well. We'll have to wait and see. But if that's something that you're interested or you just enjoy the video, please be sure to sub. The sport has been absolutely unreal as of late. Thank you all for everything. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.